plus school pupils are twice as likely to have been bullied at school, according to a new report. The charity Just Like Us says 42% of LGBT plus pupils have been bullied over the past year. The report also says many are in families who don't accept them, with 25% facing daily tension at home. Well, joining me now is the Chief Executive of Just Like Us, Dominic Arnold. Also with me is Tracy Hallway, a teacher and mental health lead at Mortimer Community College in South Shields, which is running its first Diversity Week to coincide with Pride Month. Good evening to you both. Dominic, first of all, were you surprised by that figure, nearly 42% of LGBT plus children facing bullying at school?
I mean, I wouldn't say I was surprised. I think we conducted the research because in our experience there was a problem. And I think it's significant that although we hear lots and lots about LGBT plus people in the media, in the press all the time, it seems that there's always an article going on. Actually, it seems that young people that are at school are still facing problems.
Tracy, is this something that you've seen in your schools, any schools that you've worked in previously?
Yes, it is. That was one of the reasons why we're running this Diversity Week, because students are struggling and students do need to find a route to feel safe and inclusive in schools.
I imagine one of the other reasons you're running Diversity Week, Tracy, is some of the other figures that were found in Dominic's report, Just Like Us. 74% of LGBT plus pupils who've never had positive messaging from their school about being LGBT plus have contemplated suicide. That figure drops to 65% when their school provides strong positive messaging about LGBT plus. Is that the reason, one of the reasons why you're having Diversity Week?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a time that they need to be made visible. The voices need to be heard, and it needs to be on a safe platform, and hopefully to reduce those figures, to make an inclusive curriculum and make sure that all of the students are being visible at all times.
Dominic, what else would you say schools should do, not just about the messaging, to make sure that people from the LGBT plus community feel included? What else should schools and teachers be doing?
Well, I think it's significant that so much of this is always put on schools, and I think that schools are under tremendous pressure at the moment, particularly in the last year. And I think it's important that organisations like ours are able to share some of that burden. So we've got a whole lot of resources this week for School Diversity Week that are able to support schools and give them absolutely everything they need. But in addition to School Diversity Week, you can book a visit from an LGBT speaker, you can put up posters. It might sound like they're little things, but actually if you're a young LGBT plus person that's looking around their corridors, that's experiencing bullying, those signals coming from your school to say that who you are is okay could not be more important.
Tracy, what should we be teaching children about respecting other children from the LGBT plus community?
It's about accepting them for who they are. It's about educating the students to understand that everybody is human and everyone needs to feel safe. Everyone should be able to live that happy life. It's about educating the students on the homophobic, transphobic language that other students might be hearing around and how to challenge it appropriately. And it's just about the respect for all. You know, every child, every person deserves the same kind of respect. And that's what our school's trying to drive, that respect for all.
What about parents then, Dominic? It's so upsetting to read that for 25% of those school children you asked, that who they are was being dismissed at home.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we've always seen in this type of work, that being at home can be a problem. But what we've seen from the research is that schools can play a really, really important role. One of the fascinating things that I thought came out of it showed that, yes, there's an impact on LGBT young people, but actually there's a positive impact on the mental health of non-LGBT young people if you're doing this kind of work and making sure that all children that come to school feel welcome.
Tracy, one of the other things that your school is doing is introducing gender-neutral language. How's that going to work?
So it's about not using the male, female. It's about using the they, them pronouns when we can and not making assumptions. It's just about teachers getting their heads round and ensuring that everybody feels included and we aren't making it gender specific language. So it's a challenge. It's tough for me not get it right all the times, but it's something that we are definitely driving forward, that gender neutral language, to make all feel welcome.
I was going to say, how are you going to encourage children to do this? You know, what happens if they slip up and use the wrong pronoun?
So it's fine, and we've explained that it's okay. We are human. We are all going to make mistakes, but as long as that we apologise and then just move on, we don't dwell from it. We just move on, apologise, and next time we get it right.
Dominic, the mental health of these children, so crucial. So, how has that been impacted in the pandemic?
Well, sadly, we were really worried about the mental health of LGBT plus young people during the pandemic. And the reason for that is that our previous research shows that while non-LGBT plus young people tend to rely on their family and friends, LGBT plus young people are more likely to rely on their friendship circle. And that's a friendship circle that in this year, a lot of them have been separated for a really long time. So that vital support network is cut off, and that's why it's all the more important for schools to get involved, for parents to be as supportive as they can, and make sure that we're sending positive messages about this to young people, because a lot of people have had a really difficult year.
Yeah, Dominic and Tracy, just wonderful work what you're doing, supporting and helping these young people. Really good talking to you both. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
OK, still to come on 5 News Tonight. Why Australia's natural wonder...